الله والفتح ورأيت الناس يدخلون في دين الله أفواجا فسبح بحمد ربك واستغفر إنه كان توابا صدق الله العلي العظيم.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Welcome to all participants. This year we are starting, this academic year we are starting the weekly lectures on school improvement and teacher development. And today Mr. Mohamed Azam Saab has consented to give a talk on school quality assessment. And this is a very important topic, and this is about the whole school development. And Brother Azam Saab has always been associated with UMIYAT and also with the MFERD, and he is the pioneer in developing the schools into excellent schools. He has devised a program called School Excellence Program, and today he has kindly consented to address us, and request all of you to completely listen to him and implement the ideas which he gives in your schools. Over to you, Azam sir.
Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Respected participants, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and good afternoon everybody.
Assalamu warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Today we have already started this academic year, and the best part is that we have started the learning process as well. Until and unless a school remains a learning organization, it cannot grow. It cannot grow. So, alhamdulillah, those who are joined, definitely you have a crave to learn, and your organizations are definitely looking for development, and that's what it shows. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept this gathering and also give us understanding on how to run our schools, right? So the topic given to me is school quality assessment, right? Assessment. So before going to the topic, I'd like to ask you all. We all discussed this topic, quality, but most of us will not be able to define it properly. May I have your replies to this question? What is in your mind when I say quality? If you can put it in the chat box, please. What do you mean by quality? I want the session to be more interactive, because then only you'll enjoy. Otherwise, this post-lunch session, and you'll get bored. What do you mean by quality? You can unmute yourself and speak, or you can type in the chat box. Anybody? Yes, we'd like to be more interactive. I wish somebody types. Okay. Let's move on. This quality term, generally, the institutions give or nurture various professionals, and whatever the professionals do. Institution used to be the supplier of ideas, right? Okay, the institutions used to share knowledge, the ideas to all professionals. But the quality consciousness, in fact, this has come back from industry to education institutions. This you'll have to bear in mind. So, if you see the quality gurus, there are so many, but noteworthy are here Philip Crosby, then Edward Deming, Dr. Juran, right? So, how do they define quality? Quality is conformance to the requirements. Quality is conformance to the requirements, right? So, whatever is the requirement of a customer, and if the product or service what you are giving is, if it is in conformance to the expectations of the customer, he will say that it is a quality item or a quality service, right? Dr. Edward Deming says that quality is a predictable degree of uniformity and dependability at low cost and suited to the market. It means a consistency in the degree of satisfaction, right? Consistency in the degree of satisfaction, and the cost benefit analysis, if you do that, that should match. Next, Dr. Juran says that quality is fitness for use or purpose. Fitness for use or purpose, right? So, quality has n number of definitions. I have given a few important definitions given by the quality gurus, right? So before we enter into the quality assessment of schools, we all must have a fair idea what is what is quality. We just had an idea, and let's see what are the quality management principles. Management principles. Today, I'm going to compare 2-3 standards, right? If time permits, we will compare 3 standards. What you are looking on the, viewing on the screen is the quality management system principles, that is QMS. If you know that the organizations which are certified as ISO certification, so they have, these principles, that is quality management principles. And this is the base for most of the other principles which we'll be discussing. Like CBSE has come out with a set of principles, a set of guidelines. Similarly, NABET has its own principles and guidelines. But all will be focusing on this type of these principles, right? The first and foremost thing to exist in the market, the first principle is the customer focus. The customer focus. Those organizations, those who care about their customers, and those who take their interest into consideration and they try to fulfill the customer expectations, these organizations will flourish and survive. The organizations which do not care about their customers will fail. Definitely they will fail, right? So this is the first principle. So if you analyze the market, and if you think of any product which was selling very hot and now Now, those shops, those shops are lying vacant, and there is no one, no customer entering those shops, right? You can count n number of businesses who have failed. Now, for example, when we were young, we had this Bajaj scooters, which were very famous. You have to wait around 2 years waiting period to get a Bajaj Chetak scooter delivered to you once you place an order. That was the waiting time. Now you can see that the Honda Activa and all such gearless uh, bikes, they are ruling the world, right? So those who lose customer focus, definitely those organizations will not exist. Similar is the case for our institutions. All our institutions must have a clear customer focus. Now, the next question to you is, what do you mean by the customer focus? Then who all are your customers? This you will have to have a clear understanding. Clear understanding. A customer could be anyone who is taking benefit out of an organization. If you take our case, a school is an organization wherein there are so many people taking benefit out of it, right? For example, the prime beneficiary is the student, the student. Okay. The next beneficiary, the parents, because they 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 hand over the responsibility of educating their children to the school. They take benefit out of it. Their children get educated, right? Now, if you see the next customer, you can say that the teachers themselves, they get employed, they work, they take a salary, right? So they are also getting benefited out of it. Now, if you see the management, they have they also have certain benefits out of this. Few people, those who run for profit, they take profit. Those who are doing for charity, they do it, but definitely the society recognizes them. That recognition is the benefit to them. So management also becomes a customer, right? Now, those who study with you, they don't just go home and stay back. They definitely, after completion of studies in your school, they go to the institutions of higher education. So those institutions depend on us and they take benefit out of our students. So institutions of higher education are also our customers, right? Then there are so many service providers, like somebody supplies uniform, somebody supplies notebooks, textbooks, the furniture. All such people, those who take benefit out of the institution, are customers. The government, they give licenses and they ensure safety, and they also charge fees from us. They are also our customers. Then society as a large, they also, we deliver quality human beings to the society. The society benefits out of the schools. The society is a customer. Am I clear to all of you? A customer means it is not like a shop. You just go and buy something, you become a customer. No, that is a very narrow view of looking at a customer. Now, here, whoever benefits out of an organization, everybody is a customer. So, customer focus means our organizations as a school, it has got so many customers. And if you focus on each and every customer, every member, and if you try to address their needs and make them happy and try to go beyond their expectations, Going beyond the expectation is called excellence. Once you do this, definitely the organization will be well appreciated and that will be in limelight. Always they will feel that this institution serves our best purpose beyond our expectation, right? So, customer focus is a very, very important quality management principle. Now, that comes leadership. Leadership. A few minutes back, we talked about learning. Learning. Correct. Can you just mute those mics, please, whenever somebody disturbs? So, the learning organization, an organization will remain a learning organization if it is a top-down approach. Now, if you see my introduction, which I have mentioned here, I have mentioned it as correspondent and chief learner. Why I mentioned that? Because if the correspondent himself says that I am the chief learner, then everybody in the organization will have an inclination towards learning. So to become successful, to become a successful organization, it has to learn continuously. The continuous learning attitude must be nurtured. So for that, people might be trustees, people might be just investors, but their role doesn't end there. Those trustees or those managements which involve in the teaching learning process and they try to influence the subordinates to keep the ears and eyes open for learning, those organizations will definitely flourish. So if I start my school and I'm the owner of the school, and if I visit the institution once in a year or twice in a year, so that institution will suffer badly because we depend on the people, those who are permanently there. We have so many people, like the principals, administrative people, and until and unless we inspire them to learn, they will not get updated. So the leadership role is very, very important. Now, leadership is not only confined to the owner of the institution. Each and every person in himself should behave like a leader. For example, a class monitor is there, student monitor, a leader. He is a leader for the class. And that leadership quality has got a bearing on the behavior of the students, right? Similarly, a class teacher is a leader of her class. So, if you see the leadership, if you see the qualities of a leader, and you count n number of leaders, if you ask a Muslim who is a leader, they will all will say Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam is a leader. If you ask, leaving all the religious personalities, if you ask on the political front or the freedom fighters, they all will start quoting few names. Write down all those names and try to make enlist the qualities which they had to become those to occupy those leadership roles. If you see that, the most of the leaders, they will be truthful, they'll be very honest, they'll be hardworking, they will consider others' welfare before theirs, right? Sacrifice. So you can enlist the characters of a leader, and you will find that the list goes endless. And if you compare the qualities of one leader with the other one, and whomever you are considering them to be your leaders, if you compare the qualities of them, personal qualities, attributes, you will find that they are matching. There will be the majority of the qualities, attributes will be common. The truthfulness, hardworking, just, right? Time management. So the leadership should percolate from the top management. If the top management arrives on time for any function, every function will start on time. If the top management says that I'm just, and he manages the organization in a justified manner, he's fair to everybody, fair to all the employees, fair to the parents, fair to the students. So that percolates. So every member of the organization will follow that leader, and every member of the organization will take those teachings, and they will try to emulate the leader, and ultimately the more leadership roles are likely to be formed from that organization. So leadership is also very, very important. The more ethical the leader is, the more you'll find that the organization becomes successful, right? So we discussed 2 points here. One is customer focus and the leadership. Now, the third one is engagement of people. Engagement of people. Now, you think of a scenario wherein there is a football team and they are playing a football match. Generally, there are 11 players in each team, and the opponents also will have 11 players. Now, when these teams play, and if the goalkeeper of one team says that, friends, I'm not going to play today, I'm going to just stand aside near the pole, and you all 10 can play. And definitely this team is going to be a loser because goalkeeper plays a very vital role. He's supposed to stop all the shots which are aimed at the goalpost. And if this gentleman says that I'm not going to play, all 10, you people can play and shoot goals and defend my goalpost, it is not possible. So each and every member of the organization has to fulfill their assigned roles, right? A correspondent of an institution has to deliver the complete role of a correspondent. The principal has to deliver the complete role of the principal. The driver of the school transport has to follow all the precautions and safety precautions and all the safeties, and he has to maintain his vehicle properly. He has to give the fullest possible contribution in his role. Those who are into housekeeping services, they are supposed to give their fullest. So engagement of people means involvement of people. If in one area somebody doesn't involve, there becomes a vacuum, and the organization will suffer. Now it is like filling a bucket with a hole. No amount of efforts will keep the bucket filled because there is always seepage from somewhere, right? So you'll have to have involvement of people to the fullest possible, level, and see that every role is understood by those employed, and they will have to fulfill their role. They need not to. What happens, majority of the institutions, people try to do others' work and try to, sometimes they avoid their work and they try to infringe on others' responsibility. So this is not fair. So engagement of people. So you must know what is your job. There must be clear job descriptions and clear outputs. Then only these goals could be accomplished. I hope I'm clear. I'd like to have your feedback on this. So far, whatever we have discussed, is it clear to all of you? Somebody wants this in Tamil. Is there anyone who understands only English or Hindi? Can you just type in chat box?
Sir, anyway, we are going to have a program, repeated program in Tamil, sir.
Okay.
Inshallah.
Okay, fine. So far we have discussed customer focus, in which we very clearly understood who is a customer, and with respect to school, who all are our customers. Then we came down to the leadership. So whomever you consider as a leader, if you list out the qualities and attributes of a leader, you will find that many qualities will be similar. And to become a leader, you all have to nurture these, you'll have to develop these qualities and also nurture these qualities into your students as well as subordinates. Then engagement of people, it aims at clarity on the responsibility. Whatever is your role and responsibility, every member of the organization must know and try to follow that. But most of the places, people don't do their job, they try to infringe on others' responsibility. That is a major cause of the problems, right? Then, as far as possible, every organization should be process oriented than person oriented. If you are there in the organization or not, but the organization should function without any flaw. It means the organization is working on process approach. For example, if you know the complete process of admission into a school, at what age you are supposed to admit a child, and what is the cutoff date to calculate the age, and what are the prerequisites for lateral admissions, then what are the documents required for admissions, and photographs are required, then what is the fee structure of your school, then is there any written test, qualifying test for that, are the question papers ready? If you have a sequence of operations, well defined, then if a person is there, who is specialist in admissions, if he is there or not, anyone can follow the process which is available to them in a written form, and the admission process will go on smoothly. There are so many processes in an institution. Like admission is a process, recruitment is a process, performance appraisal is a process, right? Classroom transactions, pedagogy and curriculum planning is a process. Examination is a process, right? Affiliation is a process. So every process in an organization is to be well defined and documented, so that it is not person dependent, it should be process dependent, right? So if you see that, there'll be a very important person there who will be jack of all, and he will not be teaching anybody. All of a sudden, he will demand a high salary, or if he gets a high salary anywhere, he will leave. In that case, the organization will come to a standstill. We should not allow it to happen. Always have a process approach. So process, what is process? As I said earlier, any particular task, if it is broken down into small, interdependent, series of tasks, small tasks, One task leads to another. Finally, the output, what you will get. So if it is going like this, then it is called a process. You have an input, you have an output. There are steps in between, which are interrelated steps, right? If a child comes for admission, first he has to meet the counselor. Then after counseling, they have to take an application form, fill it up. Like this, you'll have to put the process map. Once this process map is well defined, and whatever doubts that would arise in this process, if that is given as a footnote, you put that process and you will find that, Alhamdulillah, the complete organization will become process oriented, not person oriented. All right. Now, now coming to improvement. Improvement. See, the world is changing at a very faster pace. And your processes, if they are defined before 20 years, not necessarily those processes will be helpful even today. And not necessarily they will not be helpful today. You will have to feel the pulse of the present time and do minor modifications or major modifications or a paradigm shift so that you keep on improving. For example, when the pandemic struck, we all were used to the chalk and talk method, physical classrooms, offline classes, and that was a surprise to all of us. We had no option but to go for online classes, and there was no prior experience to us. It was totally a new experience for all of us. Alhamdulillah, Allah's grace, the technology helped us, and we could adopt the new technology and improve the process of teaching learning process without the child physically coming to the school. Did it happen or not? It happened. Now, after starting, then there were so many teaching troubles. Many people, they were not having, they were not used to this. They were not comfortable in front of camera. There were signal issues. There were devices, very less number of devices in a home. There were cases where there were no Android phones. And similarly was the case with the teachers didn't have connectivity. So all these issues, when they came, slowly, with trial and error method, and they keep improving, and slowly we explored, and we improved our processes. Alhamdulillah, 2 years we have just passed, but it was not a wasteful exercise. No doubt there was a learning gap, but we could fill that gap with these online classes, even if it is not to the 100% of the physical presence, but the children have not lost those academic years, right? If you see any process, you cannot say that that is the perfect one. There are opportunities for improvement, and we keep improving, right? Okay, then improvement, and whatever improvement that happens, it has to be periodically assessed, and the rubrics, and see that it's a PDCA cycle: plan, do, and check, and act. So how do we act? For example, whatever actions we take, whether it is working for us or not, we'll have to do a proper evaluation. And these evaluations are to be taken, with proper evidences. I'll show you a few evidences. How do we make decisions based on evidences? So, to be on the lighter side, one day a child was, rushing through a few old papers in his home. So finally, he caught hold of a paper, and he was hiding it behind him. And he came to his father and asked his father, uh, you were much angry when I was showing my progress report. Then the father said, yes, I'll be very angry because you have failed in so many subjects and you have scored poor marks, and I'm putting a lot of efforts and wasting my money. You are not studying well. So slowly the child pulled out that paper and shown him, father, this is your mark sheet. You have also failed in your education. So you also scored 4 marks. Now this is, the father cannot speak a single word because there is evidence in the child's hand, right? Similarly, whenever you do any work, any decision making, you will have to have proper evidences based on which you take decisions, right? Then relationship management, as I said, an organization is amalgamation of so many processes, so many people involved. If you see the customer base, everybody is a customer. We were counting so many people, and until and unless you have a smooth sale or you have proper relationships built with this, if the society is happy with the school, you will have more admissions. If there is a trouble, society is going to shun you. So you'll have to have a proper relationship with the society. The teachers, if they are, if they are cooperative and you look after them well, they are going to be properly, working for you. The suppliers, if you take the items from them and you're happy with the quality, and if you pay them back on time, they are going to supply forever. So relationship management, if the parents are happy with the way you treat them, with the way their children are looked after in school, the way the teachers treat their children, the way the lessons are transacted in the classroom, they all come under this category, the relationship management. Right? So these are the quality management principles. I'll just go through once more: the customer focus, the leadership, engagement of people, process approach, improvement, evidence-based decision making, then relationship management. I hope I'm clear. Any doubts up to this point?
Questions are welcome, ma. If anybody has questions, you can ask.
Otherwise, you can say, okay, proceed, so that I can proceed to the next topic. Okay. Now that was one particular, quality management system. If you go to any ISO 9001 company, their quality management will depend on these principles, right? Now, if you see this document, school quality assessment and accreditation, school quality assessment and not accreditation, assurance, school quality assessment and assurance. So these are the domains. If you see this, just a minute. If you see these domains, majority of us have misunderstood the education process. We feel that if a school gets 100% result throughout its journey, throughout the number of years they have worked, people feel that yes, my school is a quality oriented school. If somebody says that my school has 100% result and centum they score in many subjects, if you consider that as the quality orientation of your school, it is wrong. Now you see, the scholastic processes account for only 25% of the score. Then co-scholastic processes, which are which are about the personality development, soft skills, value systems, right? Arts, craft, all such nurturing will account for 15% weightage, and infrastructure will have a weightage of 10%. The human resources, right here, like the customer focus, you can say, all will be covered here, human resources, right? Then inclusive practices here, if a child is you know, physically challenged, then is our school inclusive in all the processes or practices? So that is one area. The management of the institution and governance will have 10%, the leadership 10%, beneficiary satisfaction, how happy your teachers are, how happy your parents are, how happy your students are. So these are the 8 principles which are almost devised on these quality management principles. Try to understand this, right? Okay, so this is the CBSE has given out, they have published a document, School Quality Assessment and Assurance, right? Now coming to another document, sorry, here you see that PDCA cycle, shared vision. So before, if you want to really focus on the quality improvement of your institution, first you will have to introspect. Where am I now? Where am I? Where is my institution? Right? And you can see those questions. Where are we now? What are we doing? Why are we doing what we are doing? Right? Why are we doing this question? Why do we do this? Why do we do this? Then this is called introspection. You review your processes completely, then reflect. Reflect. What is your benchmarking? Where you want to go? Where do we want to go? And what is working? What is not working in your organization? How did we get to where we are? What is the problem? Why are we still like this? Where do we want to be? This is reflection, right? Review and reflection. Respond. Then we are planning here, how are we going to get where we want to be, right? Now this is a planning, right? Then planning, and once you implement that, you will have to evaluate, are we on the right track? How do we evaluate our efforts? Is what we are doing making a difference or not? This evaluation has to happen. Okay, so try to understand this. Then we will go back to few now. Now, the topic given to me was school quality assessment. Quality assessment. If you see this document, this is a CBSE document published by CBSE. Okay. School quality assessment and assurance. This link already I have shared to the Salim Saab. Hopefully he will, just a minute, let me post this into the chat box. You all can download this, right? Download this and see that you all go through this, inshallah. That will help you, right? Okay. So this is the link you all can copy and download this magazine. It has got around 222 pages. If you go through each page, it's going to take much time. So what I would like to say is, it will go to the assessment part, right? How they are going to assess an institution. If you go to 210, you'll find that Now, if somebody says that my school has got 100% result, my school has so many symptoms, that is not at all counted here. Is there any question you see in this complete questionnaire? How many symptoms do you have in your school in mathematics? Nothing. There is nothing here. Similarly, no one says since how many years you have 100% result in your institution. No one is asking that question also, right? So you can go through these questionnaire. This is the scorecard. Now, the first process is scholastic processes. In scholastic processes, there are so many subparts, that is curriculum planning, teaching learning processes, student performance, assessment of learning outcomes and feedback. Then again, now come to co-scholastic purpose, right? Now see here, scholastic processes we have seen, then co-scholastic processes, you can see here, note down this page numbers 207 onwards, this questionnaire is there. Co-scholastic purposes, actually processes, then curriculum and pedagogical planning, art education, work education, skill enhancement, mainstreaming physical education and sports, life skill education, value education. So nowhere you see that 100% result. Nowhere you see that centum marks and subjects. Nowhere. Nowhere. You need to deliver good human beings to the society, not, those intellectuals, they are bookworms and they know nothing about values, the expectations of the society. No. Now coming to, you can see that third point is infrastructure. Then infrastructure, what you are supposed to look into, the questions are given here, whether the school has sufficient classrooms, it is conducive to learning, library, laboratories, computers, ICT facilities, right? So if you go through this questionnaire, you will come to know what are the assessment criteria for a school. This is not for only CBSE. Any school can use this pro forma and try to assess them and see where do we stand. Where do we stand? Okay. Now, I'm going to go to the next document because in 1 hour we cannot complete. I request you all to go through from this document from page number 207 to 222 so that you can have a clarity on the various factors which will assess an institution, right? Now coming to the next accreditation standard, that is by NABIT, National Accreditation Board for Education and Training. Here, if you see, okay, if you see, there are 3 categories: school governance, education and support processes, and then performance measurement and improvement. Performance measurement improvement. So here you can see the school governance will have the leadership, infrastructure, all such things, processes. The education support system will cover all these activities, right? Infrastructure, humans, right? Then performance measurement and improvement, you will come here, management and governance, right? So if you take any program, if you take the quality management system of ISO, if you take SQAA by CBSE, if you take NABIT accreditation standards, the terminologies, grouping of the activities might differ, but they all will focus on your customer focus, their expectations. How are you taking their inputs? How are you analyzing their inputs? How are you providing solutions and corrective actions to those expectations? This is how it progresses. Okay. If you go to school governance, see leadership and administration, mission and objectives, documentation, financial resources, physical infrastructure and support facilities, human resource management. Now coming to education and support processes, curriculum and academic program, teaching learning processes, assessment and evaluation, admission process guidance and counseling services, instructional resources, health and safety measures, risk and opportunities, self-assessment. Now, performance measurement and improvement comes self-assessment, complaint handling. It could be from the government, it could be from the parents, it could be from students, then continual improvement, benchmarking, performance review. Now, if you see that this particular school governance has a weightage of 70 marks out of 250. Education and support process has got a weightage of 135 marks out of 250. Then performance measurement improvement will have 45%, right? If you see that, okay. Now I would like to take you to the assessment page of NABET document. So this is the assessment page, right? There are 15 standards in this. Okay, there are 15 standards. Okay, in all these standards, it has been very clearly mentioned what is self-assessment, how do you handle the complaints, right? Now these are the gradings you are supposed to give. With the mere understanding, whatever you get, if you go through these particular pages, page number 17 to 20, 17 to 22. If you go through this document, you will find that you can assess your institution and you can see where you stand. So if you score less than 75 marks, the school is categorized as struggler. 75 to 125 marks, you will be beginners. 125 to 175, it is an organized institution. 175 to 225, it is an achiever institution. Beyond 225 and within 250, this institution can be emulated, could be benchmarked by others. So, excuse me. Yeah. So what I say, teachers and the management people, let's not be content with whatever we have done so far. There is always room for improvement. So what we have seen today is what is quality. Then we have seen the quality management principles. Then we have tried to connect those principles to the various assessment schemes. One is the CBSE, another one is by NABET. Okay. Now, I don't have time, hardly I have 3 minutes more. If you have, this is going to be a continuous process, inshallah, we'll try to discuss about this. We have started a program called School Excellence Program. And Alhamdulillah, last year, we did around 6 to 8 months of training program. I'll show you only one document which we got out of our 1 year's exercise, not 1 year, 6 to 8 months of exercise. I'll tell you what it is and how the schools benefited. We'll let you know just a minute. Give me just 2 minutes. Sometimes I might exceed few minutes. Now, for example,
no problem.
Yeah. This performance appraisal of our teachers, we have started one this year because we wanted to be fair in giving increments to our teachers. So, just if you see this annual increment plan, the eligibility of those who have completed minimum 1 year. The scheme is like this: self-appraisal. The teachers will do their self-appraisal. Where do they stand? Then their coordinators will appraise them. Then the principal will appraise. Then the final will be done by the correspondent. Okay, so there's no problem over here. And what is our increment slab that we have very clearly given here? Increment will be from 1st June 2022. And how this is done, right? Now, for example, the teacher has to fill the self-appraisal form, the class performance and class average, how many times did you visit the audiovisual hall along with your students for an audiovisual program in the last 3 months, right? And who is going to certify that we have mentioned. How many books did you read from the library and its entry in the register to be confirmed by so-and-so teacher, right? What extra assignments did you voluntarily accept and its details and achievements? For example, we have a civil services study circle in our school. Some teacher is made in charge, and what did she do and what is her achievement? Like this, each teacher has to mention here. What innovative methods of teaching did you follow which brought effectiveness in your teaching, and how many students got benefit? Can you mention their names? So if they mention few names, we can talk to those students and really find out how this has worked, right? Now, the coordinators have to give, now see, this is evidence-based, decision making. I'm not going to make any decision just like that, evidence-based. Now the coordinator will have to say, was the teacher cooperative in delivering the responsibilities? For example, the reports are to be submitted on a particular day, whether she's submitting or not. The voluntarily accepting any extra duties, whether they're doing it or not. Leave information, whether it is channeled through her or not, without informing the sheet. Like this, there are few things which are really trouble to us. So we thought, okay, it should go through this process. Then principal, she has to say, yes, whether she was cooperative in delivering responsibilities, voluntarily accepting extra duties. Punctuality record for the past 3 months, that is biometric data will be checked. Then record submission, was it on time or not? Then increment recommended will be this. Right. Similarly, annual performance report for non-teaching staff. So this is how you must have any decision making with a proper evidence. So that's what we were discussing so far. If you have any other questions, you can ask. Otherwise, we can wind up this. Over to you, madam. Nabat PDF.
Any questions? So this program will be repeated next consecutive Mondays, one in Urdu and one in Tamil. So participants can tell tell other schools and other teachers to participate and get the full meaning of what is the assessment, school assessment or school quality management. And to just add to what sir said, there are very simple things how to assess yourself or your teachers. So any test which you give to the students, the performance is a test, is an assessment of the teacher, how much the teacher has reached the children. So each and every test is an assessment of the teacher, the subject teacher, and each and every teacher's performance, the overall teacher's performance is an assessment of the principal, how effectively she has used the teachers. Okay, so with this simple ideas, I thank Azam Saab very much for his patient way of explaining, and very clearly he has told us at the beginning of the academic year how to focus ourselves and how to go about and how to concentrate on each and every sphere of the school management. And inshallah, all our schools will be successful ones. And we will assure you, sir, we will strive to benefit from your speech, and we will all try to bring quality into our education. Jazakallah khair, sir. And thank you, participants.
One announcement, madam. A small announcement.
Yes.
For the participants, one group we have created, and many have joined that group. In the chat box, the address is link is there. WhatsApp link is there. There, all the participants, those who are not registered through the registration form, they can now enter that form. That WhatsApp link is there. Very easy to work. A group will be created.
And next lecture will be on Saturday, the same time.
Yes, they can easily be
on your education. Yeah.
Yes, if they joined, the information will be easier for them to reach. So all
Inshallah.
those who are not joined, please see the chat box and join.
And please share all the links Azam Sahab have given in that WhatsApp group to benefit others. Yeah, thank you.
So this will be alive for another 10-15 minutes. 10 minutes.
Any questions, Ma? Any questions, anybody?
No, ma'am.
No. Okay. Thank you very much. Inshallah, meet you in the next lecture on Saturday, same time.
Okay, ma'am. Inshallah.
Jazakallah, sir.
Yes,
Azam sir.
it will not be closed for another 10 minutes. All of you please join the WhatsApp and then quit.
Azam Sahab can leave, right?
Yeah, Azam Sahab can leave. Jazakallah for
Yes, sir.
Azam Sahab, who have taken much time and much busy time to join us, and very informative messages he has given. We are thankful to him.
Salim sir, tomorrow we have a session for students. Please announce that also. Salim sir,
Yes, yes, yes. Tomorrow we are having.
tomorrow and day after we have student session. Please make the announcement.
Career guidance. Career guidance.
Career guidance. The career guidance program for
The
students.
program, the flyer will be shared in this group. Let them follow the date and this one. 15, 16 and timing. Flyer will be shared in the group. 7 to 9, 15, 16.